You're listening to the Next Play Podcast, a podcast for personal development, high achievers, and anyone not wanting to settle for average. We break down mindset, strategy, and unpopular truths behind next level growth. I'm your host, Justin Pates, joined by my co-host, Parker McGee. Let's get into it. Today we're talking about why people don't play the long game. Energy. Bring it. All right, ready? Today we're talking about why people don't play the long game. We're here with Ian McKillick. He's actually a former paratrooper for the U.S. military. He brings in a huge mindset when it comes to this topic. So, Ian, I guess, why don't people play the long game?
I would say people that just want instant gratification nowadays. Everyone wants to get like what they see. They want it right now. And I think that's kind of like a bad mindset, because if you're trying to set yourself apart, you should probably take in like short steps and just keep building until you get to that part. And I guess like now how everything you can just, like we brought up before, hey, I want to get this new car, or I want to get this house. It's just like, well, you should probably be setting like some short-term goals to get that, like maybe working some more overtime or starting like a new business venture like you guys do. And I think it's just not good how people just want to buy that right away.
Let me flip it, JP. Why do people play the short game?
Because it's easier, number one. But number two, it's hard for people to kind of stick to things long term. A lot of people want that immediate result to where, having faith and, putting in more time for a more valuable achievement isn't something that people have the willpower nowadays to even tap into.
Ian, I think that's like one of the key points when we were talking about this episode, is I'm like, Ian, because even some of the stories you went through are crazy. You're talking about the military. I know the one day you were telling me that you stayed up for like 3 days straight, and you're like, dude, I was like hallucinating. It was so crazy. It's like at all of those points in time, I'm sure maybe you weren't, and that's why we're having you on, because we want to get your thoughts on it. To me, an outsider looking in, not being in that situation, most people probably would have just hung it up and been like, no, that's not for me. Yeah. What kept you in it to be like, hey, I'm not playing the short game here. Like, this is going to be a long term, this will subside. I'll get to the gratification and the stuff that I'm trying to achieve if I stick this out.
Yeah, that kind of brings a good point up, because if I had like a training event or whatever I had to do, some type of event, or if I was overseas, I was in a different state doing some type of training or like ranges, like when you brought up like the 3 days, 4 days straight, I was not sleeping. Yeah, in the moment, it's like, all right, I have 30 days of this event I have to get to, right? And I'm not just gonna count 30 days, how many hours is that? Or like, how many minutes am I gonna be awake? Am I gonna sleep? And it's just like, you know what? No, what we'd always tell each other is like, I'm gonna get to my next meal. That's why I said, like, if we had like and it's not a meal really, it's an MRE, so it's nothing,
it's like dessert.
It's not fancy. Yeah, it's
dessert
not
every time.
Yeah, it's not some crazy steak, but that's what we do. Like if it was raining, if it was cold, if it was super hot and you felt like passing out, whatever it was, is like, all right, you know what? I gotta move a certain amount of clicks, or I gotta get through this, or I gotta jump, or I gotta like a jump, I gotta get out of a plane. Or we got to get to a certain position. It's just like, you know what, I'm not going to keep telling myself, hey, I got 30 days left of this, or I got like a couple weeks of this. If I would tell myself that, and especially I was a sergeant in the military, so I was in charge of other people. And if they see me complaining about that, then they're going to get down on that. And they're going to bring their mindset down and just be like super depressed about it. So it's like, you know what, let's just get to our next meal. That could take a couple hours.
They
right?
let you walk out if you want to, right?
I mean, you could, yeah, if I really wanted to, and I just was like, I quit, I'm not doing this. You get yelled at, it would take a while. But yeah, eventually if I just decided I didn't want to play the game no more, they would eventually get paperwork and kick me out. It would make it hard, you know what I'm saying? I'd probably get some physical punishments too, but.
Kind of like a job, I feel like.
Yeah, in that same way. I would say that, like, for you guys, now that I'm out of the military, I'm in a different like career path too. Like for you guys being business owners and working in what your aspect is, it's like, yeah, it might be hot some days, or it might be raining, or it might be terrible weather, or like you're working with some people that you don't really like. It's just like, how many hours do you got left? Just get it done. or like get that break done and get a snack and like feel better, get some water in you. But like if you really want to, especially it's easy with you guys, you don't like they don't have a contract. It's just like if I really don't like this right now, I can just leave. It's like, yeah, you could leave right now and get out, and it's not going to be like if you don't like the people you work with or you don't like your bosses, you could quit right now, or you can just get through this day and just go home and just like reset and just like, you know what, it really wasn't that bad.
You talk about, got to make it to my next meal, or, got to finish this day, but what keeps you coming back?
Yeah, I think what keeps me coming back when I was in that area was just the other people I work with. If we were saying like this training event sucks, or being overseas and just like, man, this is terrible. Like there's times that it just sucked. And it's like, why am I here and why am I doing this? It's like, oh, I got this many years left on my contract. It's like, you know what? No, it's actually kind of fun because I'm with other people that I really care about and that I would call like my brothers, and spending time with them and just talking with them. And they're going through the same thing that you're in because they're in the same spot that you're at right now, but it's like kind of different paths, like what their end goals are or what yours are. So I guess what would keep me grounded is the other guys that are with me, because it's a big old melting pot in the military. So you can just talk to whoever.
I think more times than not, like you have to establish like what outweighs what, right? Because most people just take all these negative things that have happened, like he's saying, because there are a shitload of negative things that have probably happened to you while you're in there. And it was, you could have went to that spot and been like, fuck this, I hate this, yada, yada. But it was like, yeah, this sucks, but like, I actually do kind of like it, right? Same thing when we install, or same thing when you run a lead, or same thing, in your job, everyday life, whatever it may be. Like, yeah, that car ride might suck, but I do enjoy it. Like I do enjoy working here. I do make good money, etc. Right? So you really need to fight that internal battle and establish like, this is my commitment. Yeah. I understand this will have negative things come along the way, but like I am committed to the happiness it brings me, and stay on that path, because too many people, I feel like, let those negative things just let it be a roller coaster. And it's like, we just need to be right here. We just need to be consistent.
You mentioned this last podcast, the quote, consider that the process might be harder than what you thought, but also consider that the reward at the end of that process is a lot better than what you thought as well.
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, like, do you feel like, that rings true?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up quotes because I got a good one too that we always say. Is like, yeah, I may not like the circus, but I love the clowns. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like the big old like aspect of it. It's like, man, they're just pushing you down every day. But I like the people I'm with. I like the clowns. I don't like the circus, but I love the clowns. Yeah. And those are like, for me, the other guys I served with, but you got some higher brass, like it'd be Parker, like my boss here, you know what I'm saying? Like if he's kind of ripping on me a little bit, I'm showing up a little bit. Yeah, I'm showing up late, but I got my other guys with me. We're about to have a good install. We're about to have a good day, or like drive a couple hours to go to the spot. So
I think most times too, like, I truly do want to see like everyone succeed that's like worked for us. There's some times where it doesn't probably feel like it, like when I've hopped on somebody's ass or whatever it may be. But like we truly do want to see everyone succeed. And I'm sure in the military, your sergeants, like the guys that were in charge of you, that were going down and having those tough conversations and riding you hard, like if you went back now and had that conversation with a beer at the bar, you guys would probably chop it up and be like, that was awesome, man, yada, yada, yada. When it's like, at the point in time, it's like, I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah, I had multiple guys. And it's funny because you bring that up. I had an old squad when I first got in there. I won't say his name, but he's really smart now, and now he's going to Yale Law School. Wow. And yeah, and you think from military, they're all stupid. But yeah, this guy's Yale Law School. Like, he's really good. And he was probably the smartest guy I met in the military too, like with his like tactical wise brain. But when I first got there, he would just crush me, like break me every day, and it would just suck. And I remember calling my parents like, I hate this. Like, I made such a mistake. Like, this sucks. Because it was probably for the first year, every day I would just get smoked. And like, smoked is just like physical punishment, like burpees or push-ups or like flutter kicks, whatever it is, for hours. And every day. And I would like go home, I would go to my barracks room, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, I don't even want to go to the gym because I'm just crushed. I'd fall asleep right after, and I'd wake up late at night, I gotta eat something, go back to bed. But talking about that is like, I hated this guy. I didn't like him. And then when I got higher up in rank and I was in the military longer, I realized like, well, he has to do that. Because it's a brand new guy that doesn't know anything, and it's just like, you think you're like 18, 19, you like oh, you just graduated basic training, like I'm the coolest guy ever. And then you get to your unit and you get humbled so fast. But now I talk to him all the time. I text him or I'll call him, I'll see how he's doing. And it's just funny. And that's with multiple guys too. You know, it's not just one person, but now I pretty much talk to some of my other like squad leaders or team leaders I had, and we'll talk to them like once a week at least, just to see how they're doing. And before I hated them. So.
A question I have written down is what habits help you train for long-term, success? And I think from that story you said, like obviously, when you're in it, it sucks. You keep going through it, and there's a muscle in your brain, and I can't sit here and act like I know what it is, but it gets stronger, and it's literally the willpower muscle, to where when you face a challenge that's, the same difficulty as you would, earlier, that muscle is trained. And I think, one habit, and it's not necessarily a habit, but one thing that really helps the long-term, struggle is staying in it. And ultimately, to bring up another quote, there's one, it's, punishment plus time equals comedy. So like it sucks in the moment, but then that time obviously heals that, and you look back at it and laugh. And ultimately, I can imagine, looking back on those 4 years that you put in, or Parker, the years that you put in, like building the business. I mean, I'm sure it sucked in the moment, but it gives you something to look back on and smile at, because you've come such a long way.
What's ultimately like the habit you build, and he's obviously went through extreme habit building. Like that's what the military is, I feel like. There's not many people, there are definitely some people that I would put my chips on to run through a brick wall if I required them, but like I know this motherfucker would. And I think all it's a testament to is that they put him through such severe habitual training to make sure this guy was so fucking disciplined to just do whatever was asked. And that's ultimately why he's a great employee at SDI too. And I'm sure your bosses love you there. We'll have to bring your boss on the next podcast to see, but no, that's probably why they love you at SDI as well, because he's just so habitually trained to just do what is fucking required, which a majority of the time is really the biggest challenge, right?
Doing it. I mean, again, messy action. Like it's a very exhausted phrase that we say, but it rings true in almost anything you apply it to. Because at the end of the day, just doing it is what separates most from the rest.
Yeah. And I guess a good way to like venture into that, I feel like where I work at now, the steel mill, is just like, when you brought up, you just got to get it done. A good like transition into that is where I work. It's like on a bonus. So we all have to be doing a job that we all get a high bonus and get paid. And like this week, it was really hot. It was like 95 degrees, right? And I'm in a steel box all day for 12 hours. So it's just like, yeah, it's even hotter. Probably close, a little bit over 100 degrees. But we had like this heavy steel that we had to run, and like welding it, and it's just 12 hours straight of that. And it's just like, I got to get it done. I can complain, or if I like, oh yeah, it's going to be a bad day tomorrow, I should just call off. Yeah, but if I don't show up and I do that, then we're all not going to get paid. We'll all get messed up. So if one person doesn't do their job, especially where I work at now, it's like, it actually seems like a pretty easy transition to like the military too, is because it's like a kind of a group thing. So the line that I work on, everyone needs to be doing their part, because if they don't do their part, then everyone's like bonus is going to tank, or their money's going to tank, so they're not going to be getting as high of a paycheck. And obviously people want to get paid more for doing a good job. And it's going to suck, because if everyone's doing their job and one person's like slacking off and we all have to pay for it, yeah, it's not going to feel good.
Yeah. Seems like an evergreen principle. There's no such thing as something for nothing. And ultimately, you can put in some work and then gratify yourself instantly, buy a nice car. But again, that's going to lead to money that you don't have in the future. But, sticking it out, again, the longer you wait, the more sweeter it'll be at the end. Yeah. And it kind of seems like that's like a tried and true thing. But I guess for people watching, I mean, what are some tips to, stay in it, other than obviously just doing the action itself, but like what helps?
You have to love the process more than the payment, like more than the reward.
Love that.
I feel like that's so, like, there are such shitty days being a business owner, but like you love the process more than the rewards. Like, yes, the money is good, But the process and like knowing that you have, nothing excites me more than when we hire just a guy that I'm like, he is gonna be a fucking dog. Like nothing excites me more. When I hired Jamie Dawes, who was on the last episode, I was so fucking geeked up. Like when I hire a big time player for us, like Michael Morrissey, like all these guys, like Michael came from AZ, one of our installers in Fort Wayne, but like just getting so geeked because you found a guy that you're just like, he is gonna be a piece to the puzzle. So definitely liking the process more than the reward.
Yeah. And I think when I like first met you, like being friends and like going over time, was seeing that too, like even talking to Parker or calling about him, it's just like, yeah, you have goals at the end that you want to do, or like you want to start a different like division over here, or whatever you have. But like, it's funny when you talk to him, it's like, yeah, I just hired this guy, or we just did this today. And just seeing how excited you are about it at like such a young age, and that you own this company and that you're running it. And it's just funny talking about stories about that, how he's so excited about just like a normal Tuesday that just happened to him. At like, hey, we just installed this, and this was like the funny story that happened today, you know? And it's nice seeing that for like another person too, but I guess on the outside, since I'm not inside the business where you guys are at, but just on the outside watching it, especially seeing like the CEO talking about it, like what he likes and everything. So
it's a super fulfilling thing, not only going through the process and ultimately reaching that end goal, but then looking back at what you've done to get to that point. I mean, it's a pretty sweet deal. Yeah. Do you think? I mean, it's obviously individualized, but Ian, for what you've put in, I guess you're doing really well for yourself now, and it's a loaded question, but like, do you feel like it was all worth it?
Yeah, it's. I have people ask me that quite a bit. If I was 17 again, and I had nowhere to go, and I think this is a good path for anybody, is don't think that you just need to go to college right away and get that degree. It's like, yeah, let me go $100,000 in debt for 4 years, and I don't really know what I want to do, right? And I'm saying you have to go to the military because military is like super. I mean, going through it now, I'll just be like, oh, it's not that hard.
Definitely requires
but yeah,
a certain type of person.
Yeah, 100%. But like, if you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't suggest go to college for like get all this debt, because there's people that we know now, or there's people that are 20 years older than us and they still have college debt. It's just like, that's a terrible commitment to have if you don't know what you're doing. But like, for me, I would 100% do it again. Even like when I was like 6 years old, and I thought I wanted to join the military because I saw the movies. I had some family members in the military. It's like, I would do it 100% again. Because now I'm out. I don't have a college degree. I have a high school degree, or a high school diploma, right? Zero debt. And now I got like a house, I got some vehicles, right? And it's just like, I think I did that. I played the keys I had, I played them, or like the cards I had, I played them perfect, because I go into the military, I did what I had to do in there. And then I was debating if I want to get out and go to college. And I was like, you know what? I didn't want to go to college in the first place. So let me just do this. Let me do this route. Let me go work at a steel mill. I think that's even for people that are like young and want to get into like business ventures or do whatever. It's like, hey, if you got an idea that you want to do, maybe go get hired at this place and go work there for a couple of years. Like if you have an idea of like some company you want to start or some creation, go work at that place for a little bit, or go do the military and go suck for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say just get into college, because I think that's a pathway that people take if they have. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying some people that get out of high school, like you know the people, and they have nothing else that they think they want to do, like no aspects or dreams. So they just go right into college and just get in like that same loop for another 4 years.
It doesn't matter what you do. I think it's about the level of commitment you give to whatever you do.
Yeah.
Right? Ian got into the military, extremely committed, right? Then translated over to SDI, extremely committed. Like, he's reaped a massive amount of benefits from the military, obviously, like the habitual things, the characteristic traits he's learned, obviously all the benefits that he got along with putting his life on the line. But then also SDI, making over 6 figures as a 24-year-old, having all the things that you probably didn't know if you would have when you grew up. Like, even if you choose college, whatever you do choose, it's just about the level of commitment I feel like you give to it. Because if you do give enough commitment to being a curbing installer, or a fence installer, or a coatings installer, or a siding installer, a roofing installer, like if you give it the level of commitment that's required to be the best, do you think you're going to be the best, Justin?
Absolutely.
More times than not, you will be.
And I think, you can go ahead.
Well, I guess ultimately, kind of just to wrap it up, like ultimately it's all individualized. Like it all comes down to what you're willing to sacrifice for what you want out of life, right? So it comes down to the person to kind of make that decision of what sacrifice they want to make for the reward they want to do. But I think, you know, if you love the result and you love the process to get there, I think that's the most important thing. Again, what Ian would want out of life is a lot different than what Parker, what me, and again, it just comes down to what you want out of life and what you're willing to do to get to that point, right? And ultimately, again, it comes down to looking back at it and being fulfilled at what you have achieved and what you've done to get there.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't count the cost.
Pay the price.
Don't count the cost, pay the price.
Pay the piper.
There you go. I guess to end it, I mean, to give, you know, as much generalized advice to the viewers as possible, like what would you say to somebody that ultimately, you know, doesn't know what they want to do, has an idea, but doesn't know how to get there?
You know, I'm gonna keep this really simple. Since we're all throwing around quotes today, I'm gonna quote.
It's a real quotey Thursday around these parts of the office.
I'm gonna quote the late Rich Piana. You know, whatever aspect you want in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. And it doesn't matter. That's in any aspect. Like he said, it doesn't take a scientist to know what I'm talking about right now. You know, the more you put in, the more you get out. And I think that's with anything. Like, yeah, I have a military background. That's why you guys want to talk to me. It's like a different mindset. But like school, like going to college, or starting a business, or I don't know, flipping burgers, right? It doesn't matter. If you show up with a good attitude and do it, life's gonna be good. Like if I show up to work every day and I'm like, I hate this is terrible. Like, yeah, probably everything else that comes back on me is gonna be shitty and terrible. Yeah. But if I show up and like, you know what, I'm just gonna get this done today, or like, hey, I'm gonna work and then I got 4 days off, and then I'm gonna go to the lake, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have some fun. It's just like if you have a good attitude about it, nothing's gonna hurt. So
Same thing to he said in a very short version, raise your fucking level of commitment. Like if you want to be the best boyfriend, if you want to be the best fucking business owner, best steel welder at SDI, like raise your fucking level of commitment. Like the most simple way possible, raise your fucking level of commitment.
I mean, again, I think it just comes down to like valuing what you want out of life and weighing that decision on whether or not the process to get there is worth it to you. I mean, it's all individualized, but at the end of the day, you know, everybody, I can probably say it wants more, right? And it just comes down to whether you want it bad enough to execute it or not.